Hello and welcome to the channel. My Mother at 66 by Kamala Das. The poem My Mother at 66 by Kamala Das captures the poet's emotions as she observes her aging mother during a car journey to Cochin. As her mother dozes beside her, the poet is struck by her pale, lifeless appearance, comparing her to a corpse. This realization fills her with sadness, but she quickly distracts herself by looking outside at the lively scenes of young trees rushing past and children playing. However, after the security check at the airport, she looks at her mother again and sees her frail and pale like a late winter's moon. This sight reminds her of her childhood fear of losing her mother. Despite the deep pain she feels, she hides her emotions and smiles at her mother and bids her farewell with the words, "See you soon, Amma." The repeated use of smile at the end highlights her effort to mask her sorrow and reassure her mother, even as she struggles with her own emotions. Now, in details. The poem My Mother at 66 by Kamala Das is a deeply emotional piece that expresses the poet's feelings about her aging mother. The poem is written in a single sentence, reflecting the continuous flow of the poet's thoughts and emotions. The journey begins. The poet is traveling from her parents' home to Cochin by car on a Friday morning. Her mother is sitting beside her, dozing with her mouth open. The poet looks at her mother's face and notices that it is pale, lifeless, and colorless, just like a dead body. This sight fills her with sadness as she realizes that her mother has grown old. A sudden distraction. Feeling disturbed by the thought of her mother's aging, the poet tries to distract herself by looking outside the car window. She sees young trees rushing past as if they are running, and she also notices happy children coming out of their houses. The contrast between these images and her mother's weak appearance highlights the difference between youth and old age. At the airport. After reaching the airport and completing the security check, the poet looks at her mother again. Her mother appears weak and pale, like the moon on a late winter night, dim and lifeless. This sight brings back an old fear from the poet's childhood, the fear of losing her mother. Hiding her emotions. Even though she feels sad, the poet doesn't express her pain. Instead, she says, "See you soon, Amma," a hopeful farewell as if she will see her mother again soon. She forces herself to smile repeatedly, trying to hide her sadness and reassure her mother. However, deep inside, she feels a strong emotional pain, knowing that this is slipping away. Main themes: aging and mortality. The poet realizes that her mother is growing old, which reminds her of the reality of life and death. Fear of separation. The poet feels the same childhood fear of losing her mother. Love and care. The poet loves her mother deeply and doesn't want to show her pain, so she hides her emotions with a smile. contrast between youth and old age. The young trees and happy children symbolize life and energy, while her mother represents aging and weakness. Conclusion. Through this simple yet touching poem, Kamala Das expresses the universal fear of losing a loved one. The repeated word smile at the end suggests how people try to hide their sadness and remain strong for their loved ones, even when they are hurting inside.